to everybody. We will just wait a few minutes for other participants. So welcome to everyone. I'm really happy to see you again today for our fourth experience webinar that is guiding us through our 5 senses. So we started with touch, and it was at the Fort Village. Then we have had smell, and we had the experience about the perfume, and we learned how to make a perfume. Last week it was taste, and we were at the Gelateria Badiani, where I tasted the ice cream, and you just learn how to make it at home. Hope you have enjoyed it and you have tried it. I can just tell you that the ice cream, the gelato, was really fantastic. Today it's the turn of vision, and we are in Rome at the Roman Forum with Vincenzo, that will just guide us through a visit of the Roman Forum. That was the religious and the public life of ancient Rome. So I will just give the line to Vincenzo, and we are really happy that today it's not raining, and hope that the line will be fine during the whole time, because it's not easy to have a good line at the Roman Forum. So I just connect you with Vincenzo and hope you will enjoy it. Vincenzo, it's your turn.
My friends, nice to meet you, even if in a virtual way, and welcome to the Roman Forum and the site experience. Now, as you can imagine, Rome is an emotional city, and we are in the city center of the Roman Empire, the Roman Forum. Oh, my friends, before we start, just the 3 rules. First of all, sometimes I'll take off my mask, but sometimes when I will meet other tourists, obviously I'll have to cover my mouth and nose. Second, remember that our tour will last for 1 hour, more or less. I could spend in the Roman Forum a couple of weeks. So I'll have to be fast in my explanation, complete but fast. Third rule, let me say thanks a lot to Martina that's holding the camera, the iPhone that will include me too, sorry for you, in the experience of the Roman Forum. And now, my friends, we are ready to start. Roman Forum, my friends. A forum means a square. We are in the core, in the city center of the ancient Rome. We are talking about the political life, the religious life, the economic life. If you know a single character of the ancient Roman history, for example, Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar was walking on this road. Augustus is the same. Nero was walking here. So, my friends, every character that you know was here in the Roman Forum. Now, Miriam, if you can put on the screen the first slide, you can have a look at the map of the Roman Forum, and you will see that the Roman Forum is a large valley. Now, in the picture that you have on the screen, you will see on the right the Colosseum, the Flavian Amphitheater, but we will not talk about this monument, if not in a secondary way. And on the extreme left, you can see an Arch of Triumph. The name of this arch, Arch of the Roman Empire, and it's incredible. Because if you think that Obama was a spectacular revolution for the US, think about the Roman Empire to have a black-skinned emperor as the leader of the empire. As you can see, Colosseum on one side, Arch of Triumph dedicated to Settimio Severo on the other side. And now, my friends, it's time to start. You can see the arch on your map. And now, please, Miriam, let the map disappear in front of you, and Martina, point the camera in front of the real arch of Settimio Severo. My friends, we are talking about an Arch of Triumph. What's exactly an Arch of Triumph? The Arch of Triumph is a monument that dedicated to an emperor, and that an emperor can receive only if he can satisfy three conditions. The emperor has to win a war, obviously. He has to make the expansion of the empire. So if the war is a defensive war, no chance for him to have an Arch of Triumph. And then, it seems incredible, the emperor has to kill 5,000 enemies in a single war. If the emperor killed 4,999 enemies or less, instead of an Arch of Triumph, there were the senators killing for the emperor a single sheep, a lamb. So can you understand the difference? I think so. So if you look at the Arch of Settimio Severo, we are talking about the beginning of the 3rd century AD. You can imagine it as the exit door of the Roman Forum. And if you look down, Martina, pointing on the road, you can see fragments of the original Roman road. The name of it is Via Sacra, in English, Holy Road. This is the most important road of Rome that, as you can see, will go straight. Look at me, Martina, imagine it straight, 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 going where you can see the other arch, the Arch of Titus, on the opposite side of the Roman Forum. So 2 arches of triumph as 2 doors, entrance door and exit door of the Roman Forum. All around of us, an incredible amount of very important buildings. Unfortunately for you, one of these buildings is today under restoration. But Martina, have a look at it. We're talking about the Curia. If you wanted to understand exactly how this building was, please, Miriam, put on the screen the second slide where you can see in black and white the Arch of Settimio Severo, and on the right, the Curia. The Curia was transformed. The other slide, please, Miriam, the other one, the second one. So you can see this large building, a sort of acoustic chamber. You can see now an enormous building here in between the arch and the Curia, and it's just in front of us. I'm talking about the Basilica Emilia. The Curia was the Senate of Rome. The Basilica was not a church. Today you can think, oh, Basilica is the St. Peter's Basilica. Absolutely not. Have a look at the screen, and now turn off the slide, Martina. Point your camera over the ruins of the Basilica Julia. As you can see, it's completely destroyed. It's surprising because you can see just the walls today, but these walls are the few remains of one of the most important buildings of the Roman Republic. Imagine that the Basilica was a sort of tribunal, not necessarily a church as you can imagine today. Basilica is because there were 5 large corridors, 5 large naves. Imagine that it could be split many small rooms with tents, soft walls, so it was possible to decide day by day how large the rooms had to be, and it was on the back of this large stone wall. But looking at the wall, you can see columns everywhere, fragments of stone everywhere. Let's walk, Martina, follow me, and have a look at your left, looking at the remains. The reason of all these remains is that during the medieval times, during the Renaissance, in the Baroque age, and later in the 18th century, so if you look at in front of me, you can see, I was explaining it to you, fragments of the original Basilica Emilia, 2nd century before Christ, my friends. We are talking about more than 2,200 years ago. And you can see all these fragments because the Roman families, the popes, the cardinals came here stealing the marble fragments to build with them churches, palaces, and fountains in the modern Rome. So it's normal that Rome is completely destroyed. Earthquakes, fires, and spoliation by popes and cardinals. If you look in front of you, Martina, have a look there, you can see that there are vertical walls coming out from the horizontal huge stone wall. These are the walls of shops. Imagine commercial shops. We are in the city center my friends. We are in the core of the ancient town, so it's normal that luxurious shops were here selling gold, silver, jewels, gems. They were changing money, trading goods. So we are talking about luxury shops. Everywhere around us, we have fragments of history. But my friends, we are now going in front of the most important panoramic view of the Roman Forum. Taking these steps, we'll walk for a second on another fragment of an original Roman road. I think that you know the famous traditional expression, all the roads lead to Rome. That's obviously not true, but it explains to you how the Romans were extraordinary experts into the road building. Jay was talking about the ability that the Romans had about building roads, aqueducts, bridges, and sewers. If you come in Rome thinking about works of architecture, you are in the wrong city. You have to imagine works of engineering. So you have to imagine that the Romans were fantastic into the upgrade of the projects. They were not inventors, they were copying the other styles, mixing all together and improve them. Let's move there now. Now, my friends, we are in front of the real forum, the real square. Now, Marty, have a look just in front of you. You can see in front of you on the right, the Arch of Settimio Severo. At the right, more covered by scaffolds, the famous Curia, the Senate of Rome, where at the beginning 300 and later 600 senators were organizing the meetings to coordinate the political life of Rome. At the real background, the real end of the square, where now you can see a fantastic modern bell tower built in the 16th century, you can see today the town hall of Rome, but it was the famous tabularium. Now, Marty, look at me. What the tabularium was, imagine a sort of public library in the ancient Rome. Imagine that you are a politician. Imagine that you are a senator, or if you prefer, imagine that you are an emperor in the ancient Rome. You are trying to preserve all the documents related with the political life of Rome, but the documents in the ancient Rome were made of paper, were made with scrolls. Can you imagine if there's a fire? Everything is going to smoke, everything is going to be burned. So it was necessary to preserve, to store the most important documents of Rome on more resistant materials, for example, marble, for example, bronze, and they were preserved and stored there. The name of this building is Tabularium. Tabula means document, usually made of metal or made of stone. In front of it, you can see 3 single columns very close to the tabularium, and moving your eyes on the left, you can see another very massive temple, 6 columns on the front and 2 on the side. And now, Miriam, please put the next slide. That's the panoramic view of this side of the Roman Forum, and you can be surprised. Okay, next one, and you will see 2 enormous buildings just in front of us at the end of the square. The building, the temple that you can see on the right is the temple of Vespasian and Titus. Vespasian, my friends, was the emperor who built the Colosseum at the end of the 1st century AD, between 72 and 80 AD. And Titus was his son, the emperor who inaugurated the Colosseum. With my friends, it seems incredible, 100 consecutive days of games. My friends, 100 consecutive days of games. It means that more than 15,000 animals were killed during that inauguration. It means that more than 3,000 men were killed. It's still today considered the most incredible, exciting, emotional exhibition happened in all the historical life of the Colosseum. The massive building on the left, put on a very high pedestal, is the temple of Saturn. Saturn was the god that was considered the father of Jupiter, and I don't know if you know it, but Jupiter was considered the king of the Roman gods, the leader of the pantheon of the Roman gods. That building has been entirely rebuilt in the 3rd century AD after a devastating fire that in 283 AD destroyed all this part of the Roman Forum, a place considered that the most famous fire of Rome, the Nero's fire, happened in 64 AD, so more than 2 centuries earlier. The pedestal of that temple is very important because inside of it there was the erario, a sort of a safe place, a treasure bank, where the Romans were keeping all the taxes, all the money collected, thanks to the taxation, by all the Roman citizens. So it was an excellent way to prove to the citizens where their coins were. If you look at the real top on the left, you can see 2 giant temples. My friends, now an explanation. Keep in your mind where these 2 temples are. And now, Martina, please look at me again. You can turn off the slide, Miriam, because you have now to point your eyes over my finger. Look at me. If you look there, my friends, there was the giant temple dedicated to Jupiter. Jupiter, my friends, was the leader of the Roman gods, and the temple of Jupiter was for more than 7 centuries, my friends, 700 years, the biggest temple of all of Rome. As you can understand, the Roman Forum is in a valley, and the valley of the Roman Forum is surrounded by 2 of the famous 7 hills of Rome. Everyone knows the 7 hills, but my friends, 7 is a magic number for the Romans. Don't believe, trash the books. There were more than 7 hills, but let's keep the traditional number, 7. Let me show you 2 of these hills. On that side, the Capitoline Hill, at the top of it, there was the temple dedicated to Jupiter. So it was the house for the most important god of Rome. Martina, if you move all around the view, and if you look up there, on the top of the hill, there's the Palatine Hill. Just to check the sound of it. Hear my voice, Palatine, Palatine, very similar to palace. My friends, where now you can see the people going up to take a picture, there was the palace of the emperors. So, Marty, look at me. On my left, the Capitoline Hill. On my right, the Palatine Hill. In the middle, the Roman Forum. So, my friends, the Roman Forum, the valley, the core of Rome, was exactly in the center between the house of the most important god, the house of the most important man of the community. But now, it's time to talk about another man. If I'm asking you just now, my friends, who is the most important historical character related with the ancient Rome that you have in your mind, that you can remind, that you have very clear in your memory? The name is only one, my friends, and the name is Julius Caesar. Obviously, Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar is the most important man of the Roman history. The first one after Romulus, who became a god after his death. So when he died, Julius Caesar became a new god for the Romans. Miriam, show to our friends the face of Julius Caesar. Let's show them the slide representing the statue of the dictator of Rome, the most important character of the ancient Rome. Oh, my friends, if you take tourists coming here, if you ask them, can you tell me the name of a single man, a single historical member of the ancient Roman society, 99.9% of them will answer you, Julius Caesar. But my friends, Julius Caesar had an extraordinary life and an extraordinary end of this life. Ides of March, 15th of March, 44 before Christ, 23 senators surrounded Julius Caesar and taking the daggers, the knives that they were hiding under the right arm sleeve, they surrounded them, stabbing him to death. I would like to do it to Martina now, but otherwise the camera will fall down. You cannot imagine the face of Martina's face. No, nothing to do. Okay, imagine 23 senators surrounding Julius Caesar. Please, Miriam, show them one of the most famous paintings related to this historical event. Show them what happened with Julius Caesar falling to the ground and the 23 senators surrounding him and stabbing him. Senators had an agreement. They chose to give a single hit to Julius Caesar because no one wanted to have a greater responsibility than the other ones into the murder of Julius Caesar. And it seems incredible they did it. 23 senators, 23 hits. 22 were not lethal. Only one of the 23 was the lethal Julius Caesar. Perhaps the famous Brutus? Perhaps Cassius? Who knows? No one knows it. So, my friends, when Julius Caesar came here, surprise, surprise, there was an entire city coming into the Roman Forum. Imagine all the space that you can see all around of me. Martina, turn all around of you. Imagine all this space, every inch of it, filled with people. They came here and they were waiting for the divination, the deification of Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar had to become a god. But there was a surprise. The successor of Julius Caesar, for every single member of the Roman society, had to be Mark Antony. Do you know this name? Mark Antony, the Cleopatra's lover, a very big man, a massive one, a huge chest, a loud voice, charismatic man. Everyone loved him. But for the surprise of the Roman citizens, the dictator, before his death, wrote a scroll with his last will. And on the scroll, my friends, the name of the divine successor was not Mark Antony, but Octavian. And Octavian was completely different. Octavian was a very thin guy, always sick, not exactly a handsome man. So the Roman citizens disliked him. My friends, there was a civil war, Mark Antony versus Octavian. And who was the winner? Octavian won. Mark Antony did a terrible mistake, falling in love for Cleopatra. My friends, Cleopatra was not a Liz Taylor. Forget the movie, forget it. But she was the most powerful woman of all the world at that time. The Egyptian queen, leader of the Mediterranean Sea. The problem was that Cleopatra had been the lover of Julius Caesar. They had a son together, Cesarione. So, my friends, in the naval battle of Actium 31 before Christ, Octavian won. Cleopatra chose to commit a suicide, killing herself with the poison of a snake. Mark Antony did the same, hitting himself with his knife. Octavian came back to Rome, receiving the title of Augustus, becoming so the first emperor of Rome. And the first action that Augustus did, not the second, not the third, Martina, have a look there, was to build in memory of Julius Caesar, the temple for the god Julius. Pay attention, my friends, not the temple for Julius Caesar, but for the god Julius, the new god of the Romans. Now, Miriam, if you can show to our friends the picture of the original temple, the reconstruction of it, you will be surprised to see how today we have literally nothing of it. We have no more the columns, we have no more the triangular top, we have to the rest of the temple. You already know it, my friends. The Roman citizens stole the blocks of marble to transform them in walls and decorations for modern buildings, churches and fountains. So we have today only the foundation of it. But now look at us. Martina, follow me here and please, Miriam, turn off the slide. We are now going close to the original wall. You can see the large blocks of stone. As you can see, forget the marble, my friends, forget the marble. It's only a... Okay, no, you can turn off the slide. Give us the video, Miriam. Let me appear in front of the camera. Look at this wall. As you can see, it's not made of marble. Forget the marble. It's just a volcanic rock, nothing more than it. And you can tell me, Vincent, why are you choosing to show us this very poor wall? Because, my friends, today we are in the core of the ancient Rome.
Vincenzo, we lost again Vincenzo and the connection. Hope it will come back too soon. Vincenzo? Sorry for the inconvenience, but the connection at the Fori Romani, it's not so good. We lost him.
Please tell me if you can hear my voice.
Ti abbiamo perso per un pezzo.
I will repeat, don't worry.
Girare la telecamera, ti vediamo all'incontrario.
I was looking together with you this very unusual wall made of volcanic rock that seems surprising. It's just a volcanic rock, nothing more than it. A very poor material, no marble here. And you could ask me, Vincent, why are you here in front of this wall, considering there's nothing around of it? I have a surprise for you, my friends. On the back of this wall, there's the symbolic core of the Roman Forum. So when you are in the Roman Forum, every guide can tell you, oh, you are in the city center of the ancient Rome. It's true, but where is exactly the city center? Where's the center of the body of the city? There's a symbolic center, my friends. Now, Martina, be the eyes of our visitors and enter without me. Have a look. On the back of this volcanic rock wall, there's a single rock. Enter, please, inside, and you will see on this rock coins and few flowers. Consider, my friends, obviously there are only few flowers because with the pandemic, there's no one coming here. But this rock, my friends, is the official and traditional place where the body of Julius Caesar burned into the fire. Here there was the fire burning it. The body burned for 3 entire days. Imagine it, 72 hours burning. The smoke went into the sky. The sky is the land of the gods, and Julius Caesar became the new god of the Romans. Imagine that every 15th of March, at the anniversary of the murder of Julius Caesar, a lot of Roman citizens are coming here, putting a flower on this rock. A couple of years ago, the flowers went very close to the roof of this small temple. Can you imagine how important is the memory of Julius Caesar for us? We are unable to forgive the 23 senators, and we are unable to forget the memory of Caesar. And now, my friends, it's time to show you a detail that will let you smile. Imagine that you are a Roman citizen spending hours and hours of his time in the Roman Forum. Imagine that you have to assist to a ceremony. Imagine that you have to go to the Senate. Imagine that you have to meet a lawyer. So imagine that you have a work, an activity that you have to do here. Now, let me take, together with Marty, this road that, as you can see, runs in a parallel way with the famous Holy Road. On the left, you can see the Basilica Julia, that, as the name can explain you, was built by Julius, so Julius Caesar. We are talking about the 1st century before Christ. Look at the steps that are there, that are not only the pedestal to arrive inside of the basilica, but they are also a place to spend the time, to have a seat, to relax, to drink something. But if you want to spend the time in a very creative way, if you wanted to have fun in the meantime, but you can play. I think that you know the most traditional board games. Think about Scrabble, think about Risk. Okay, the Romans had a completely different board game. Representing two board games related with the ancient Rome. The first one related with Imperial Rome, and the second one related with the Republic. So if you look at them, they seem very similar to tic-tac-toe. They seem very similar to the chess game and so on. But now I want to show you something more. Martina, have a look at here. Okay, on the steps. Okay, now try to. I have now 3 stones. Can you put your camera here, Martina? As you can see, there's a big stone, a medium one, and a small one. Now, sitting close to the steps, imagine myself sitting there, I will throw the stones, trying to let them fall inside of the holes. It's a sort of bowling, but with my stones. Nothing to do. I'm the worst player of this board game. I scored 0 points, no points at all. If the small, medium, or large stone entered exactly in one of the holes, I was able to score 3 points, 2 points, 1 point. As you can see, it's a very simple game, but it was an extraordinary way, very funny, to spend the time waiting for the lawyers calling you or waiting for the activities starting all around you. My friends, we are now leaving the real square, so we are moving away from the Roman Forum, the formal Roman Forum. But Martina, have a look just in front of us. You can see a very small building entirely made of marble just in front of us. This building is having a circular shape. This information is very important for you, my friends, because every single time in the urbanistic form of Rome, in the shape of Rome, every single time that you see a circular shape for a building, it means that that building is many times more important than an ordinary one. The ordinary buildings were having the rectangular shape. When you see a circular shape, turn on the light of your brain, be ready, because you are immediately in front of an important location. My friends, this is the location dedicated to the 6 most important women of all the ancient Roman society. I'm sorry for all the ladies that are part of the show, but I have to tell you, my dear ladies, that unfortunately the role of the women at the time of the ancient Roman society was not so important as today. The Roman women had not a real authority, a real independence, or a real freedom. Many women moved from the authority of the father to the authority of the husband, to the authority of the son, if the husband was no more alive. It was so for almost all the Roman women, but not for 6. I'm talking about, my friends, the famous Vestal Virgins. The building that you can see here is the Temple of Vesta. Miriam, you have, between the slides that I gave you, the reconstruction of the Temple of Vesta. The circular building is very easy to find it because it's the only circular building that you have in between your slides. And if you look at the fragments of it, and if you compare it with the picture, oh, my friends, that's nothing. It's entirely made of marble, and that's excellent, but at the same time, it's just a very little portion of the original wall. Who were the Vestal Virgins? The Vestal Virgins were 6 women chosen when they were 6 years old and forced to stay at the service of the goddess Vesta for 30 years, so from 6 to 36. As the name can easily explain you, Vestal Virgins means that they had no chance to have a sexual intercourse in the meantime. When they arrived at 36, they had the chance to have a family. But please consider, my friends, that at 36 you were not exactly young in the Roman society, so it was not so easy for them to form a family. The Vestal Virgins had a specific duty. Miriam, can you put on the screen the other slide? You will see the Vestal Virgins taking care of the holy fire that was in the Vesta's temple. The holy fire was the most important light in the Roman society. It was the fire of Rome. It had to be always turned on, because if the fire was for any reason no more in light, oh my friends, terrible danger for the city of Rome and terrible punishment for the 6 Vestal Virgins. Now, please move away the slide, and Martina, look at me. The Vestal Virgins were very powerful in the ancient Roman society. I want to give you, my friends, 2 examples. First example, if the emperor, my friends, I'm talking about the emperor, if the emperor met a Vestal Virgin while the emperor was walking, the emperor had to stop himself, let the Vestal Virgin walk in front of him, and then the emperor started to walk again. The action that we are doing today, opening the door for our wife, for our girlfriend, letting her enter in front of us, before us in the building, it's coming from the traditional, and it was not a tradition, it was an order, the traditional rule to let the Vestal Virgin walk in front of you. Second example, my friends, is still more incredible. If a man or woman condemned to death met a Vestal Virgin during the day of the execution, freedom immediately. No one could discuss about it. It was the will of the gods. The gods wanted the Vestal Virgin free, wanted the criminal free, and the Vestal Virgin were showing the will of the gods, and the tribunal had to shut up. The Vestal Virgins had here in the Temple of Vesta their office. But I would like to show you the house of the Vestal Virgins. Remember, my friends, that we are in the Roman Forum, where every meter, every inch is very expensive. Imagine that you are buying an apartment, a very large apartment in the city center of New York, in the city center of Rome, for example, is very expensive. It was not so for the Vestal Virgins, who had an enormous house just for them and for their assistants. Let's have a look at it. It's the famous Atrium Veste. Martina, let's move there immediately on the right to have a clear view about this building. Now, my friends, This is an extraordinary experience. When Martina will arrive here and you will see what I'm seeing now, so this garden in the middle, now you have to imagine a line of columns surrounding it. Look at the pedestal that you can see on the left having the statues of the Vestali Massime, so the elders of the order. So my friends, imagine to be here in a spectacular atmosphere, having the chance to have fresh water every day, fresh fruits every day, having a sort of warm temperature during winter, because all the brick walls, Martina, let's have a look at them, all the brick walls are empty inside. So in case of a very cold winter, you could put wood on the fire. The hot air that's lighter than the cold one was filling the walls, giving to the Vestal Virgins a warm temperature for all the day and night. If you look just around the view, you can see brick walls everywhere. In case of a very cold winter, being at the middle part, the inner part of these walls completely empty, it was possible to move underground, putting wood in the fire, so the hot air was filling the walls, giving to the Vestal Virgins a warm temperature during winter, day and night. And now, Martina, if you put your camera just in front of you, giving to our spectators a clear vision about all the perimeter of the House of the Vestals, now, Miriam, please put on the screen the reconstruction of the House of the Vestal Virgins, and you can compare the two visions. Okay, next one. Okay, imagine it. As you can see, we have two different floors. The ground floor, that's for the meals, the kitchen and the storage rooms, and the first floor, that's for the apartments of Vestal Virgins and assistants of the community. Imagine how rich was the life of these 6 women. Now, look at me again, Marty, and please, my dear friends, try to guess what happened, in your opinion, if a Vestal Virgin was discovered together with a man in the middle of the 30 years of service. It was a terrible crime, one of the most illegal and most dangerous actions that a Vestal Virgins could do. You could answer, oh, Vincent, obviously they were killing her. It's not so easy, my friends. No one could touch a Vestal Virgin. The Vestal Virgins were untouchable. So the crime was horrible. The lover of the Vestal Virgin was killed. But what happened to her? It was necessary to find a way to kill her without killing her. It seems impossible. It's not so. The Roman soldiers took the Vestal Virgins considered guilty. They moved her in a cave. They gave to the Vestal Virgins a portion of bread and a cup of milk, and then they closed the cave. My friends, look at my face. The Vestal Virgins who were no more virgin were condemned to be buried alive. And when the senators asked to the soldiers, okay, what happened to her? The answer was, I have left her alive. If she will die, not my responsibility, obviously. It's Kronos, god of time, choosing for her fate. That's to explain you how the Romans were able to move all around the laws to choose the favorite choice and the favorite fate for the criminals. Let's leave now the house of the Vestal Virgins, and now I would like to spend 5 minutes of this tour to show you how the historical books that you studied at elementary school about the ancient Roman history are giving you not a wrong vision, my friends, but just a partial vision about the ancient Roman history. Now, Miriam, please collect the answers of our spectators. My friends, can you tell me in 10-15 seconds who was, in your opinion, the worst emperor of the Roman Empire? The worst one. Oops, my friends. The worst one. Think about all the information that you have in your mind, write your answer, and write the name of the emperor that, in your opinion, was the worst one at all of all the Roman Empire. Miriam, Give me the answers.
Jane is telling Caligula.
Excellent, excellent. I want another name
the
too.
same, Caligula.
Okay, good answers, my friends, good answers. Now, I want to try to see if there's another answer. Hey, can you give me another name? Caligula is an extraordinary answer. I want another one. Come on, the Emperor of the Fire, my friends, you know it. You know it. Do you remember Nero?
Nerone.
Do you remember the terrible Nero? Next time, I'm going to ask this question to the tourists coming to Rome. The two answers that I always receive are Nero and Caligula. 100% of time. Oh, let me tell you, my friends, there were emperors that were worse than these two. We consider them as the two worst ones at all. Excellent, excellent. But now I have another question. Can you tell me who was, in your opinion, the best emperor of the Roman Empire? The best one? Write your answer. Best emperor.
Augustus.
Best. Oh,
Jane is
excellent.
telling us Augustus.
What an extraordinary knowledge. I want him immediately here in Rome, Octavian Augustus. So in my personal list, I consider Octavian Augustus as the bronze medal, the third step of the pedestal. He was the first Roman emperor, and I love to talk about him as Augustus wrote about himself. Augustus wrote, I came in Rome, finding a city made of bricks, and now I'm dying, leaving a city made of marble, explaining so that it changed completely the appearance of the city. Silver medal, in my personal opinion, the Emperor Hadrian. Hadrian was the first Roman emperor having the beard on his face. Look at me. Today is normal. At the time, absolutely not. The Latin word for beard is barba. And if you think about it, the enemies of the Romans were the barbarians, so men with beards, and the Roman citizens were very confused about that emperor so similar to the enemies. Who is, in my opinion, the gold medal? Martina, have a look at there. Look at this enormous building in an excellent state of preservation. Today is a church, the Church of St. Lawrence. Look at the top where you can see the cross. But the 6 columns on the front, the 4 columns on the 2 sides are related with the temple dedicated to the most important and the best, in my opinion, emperor of the Roman Empire. We are in the 2nd century AD. Please have a look at the inscription. First line, Divo means divine, God, because when an emperor died, that emperor became a god. Antonino. Antonino is the successor of the Emperor Hadrian. The second line under it is dedicated to his wife, Diva, so goddess, Faustina. Now, my friends, it's time to become very romantic. Antonino was the only emperor of the Roman Empire, just one, my friends, one in almost 5 centuries, the only one who spent all his entire life with the same wife. All the other emperors had 2 or more wives. Think about Augustus, who had 3 wives. My friends, the Romans were so proud about this man that they chose to dedicate this temple not only to the emperor, but to the imperial family, together in the life, together after life. It seems that we are very romantic. The Romans are not famous to be romantic. It's a question of being loyal. If you are loyal to your family, you are loyal to the community and to the empire. Is the only temple of all the Roman Empire dedicated not only to a single emperor, but to all the imperial family, husband and wife. It's now time to move away from the Roman Forum. My friends, we have been very lucky because now the sky is becoming very cloudy and it's predicting rain in a couple of minutes. You can't hear the thunders that I'm hearing now. So I'm just walking a little faster, just because otherwise a storm will catch us here in the Roman Forum. Martina, have a look in front of you. There's a brick building, very small. The name of this building is Temple of Romulus. Romulus is not only the first king, the legendary first king of Rome, but it was a very common name. So my friends, just to understand, Romulus was the modern Mario. Every Italian family has an Uncle Mario in the middle of the family, and it was the same. Every Roman family had a Romulus in the middle. There's a wind now in the middle of the family. It's now time to stop for a second in front of the most important part of this building. That's the entrance door. Now, have a look here. I'm now going to give you an information that will be you very useful, not only today for this webinar, but for all the visits that you will do in every museum. Every single time that you see the red marble, every single time means always, my friends, 100% of time. Every single time that you see the red marble, turn on the light and consider, please, that the building is related with the imperial family. It's not necessarily a building related with the emperor, directly with the emperor, but with a member of the imperial family. For example, this is a temple dedicated to the son of the emperor Maxentius. Miriam, if you can put on the screen the two slides that I've sent you, representing a huge red marble sarcophagus, and after it a large basin of red marble too, you can see how the sarcophagus was the sarcophagus dedicated to a member of the Constantine's family. Constantine was the first Christian emperor of the Roman Empire. And if you move to the other slide, you can see this large basin that was belonging to the Nero's wife, the famous Poppaea, who loved to wash herself every morning with donkey milk instead of water. So, my friends, keep it in your mind. Red marble, imperial family. Now, turn off the slide. Martina, point your phone on the door. This is, my friends, one of the only two bronze doors still today preserved. And in this one, the lock is still working. It seems incredible. We have the key to open and close it. Why we have no more the bronze doors? Because during the medieval times, not only the marble was important. Think about the metal. Think about the iron, the bronze. It was possible to melt it down to produce new armors, new shield, new weapons, and cannons during the Renaissance. Only two doors are still existing. The other one is the main door of the Cathedral of St. John in Lateran. And now, let's go up. As you can see, we are leaving now the bottom of the Roman Forum, so the lowest part of it. And remember that also if today we are walking over fragments of the original road, Rome is not as it was 2,000 years ago. I love to give you a symbolic explanation. Now you will smile in front of your screen when I will explain it to you. But Rome, the city of Rome, is an enormous lasagna. My friends, do you know the lasagna? The pasta, level over level over level, layer over layer over layer. So, my friends, the lasagna is the perfect symbolic graphic explanation that you have to keep in your mind. We are now walking on the top of the lasagna, but under our feet, there are many other additional layers. And before Mussolini, leader of fascism, did the excavation here, my friends, the ground floor of the Roman Forum was covering me. Look at here, Marty. Can you see this marble block? This was the level of the Roman Forum 750 years ago. Look, I'm completely underground. Oh, my friends, I'm almost 6 feet and I'm completely underground. Now walking slowly, very slowly. Look at my head, has the upper part. This, hear me, Miriam?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I was explaining you that going up on the top of the Roman Forum, we have obviously no more so many meters of ground covering all the ruins, but we are going at the top of it where all the valley was visible. Consider, please, that the problem in Rome was not the fire, but the river, the Tiber River, that with the flood, in case of heavy rain, was covering literally every portion of the city that was under the level of the water. So it's very important to consider that Mussolini did a lot of crazy actions, but his archaeologists literally did a miracle. On our left, you can see another massive building, and if Martina points the camera just in front of her, you can see a line of red marble columns. And my friends, you already know what it means. It means that the building is related with the imperial family. Now, let's look in front of you. You can see the line of the red marble columns, and when you see the red marble, you know it. We are talking about a building related with the imperial family. This basilica, this massive building, has been built by the Emperor Massenzio. Massenzio was the competitor of the Emperor Constantine. Constantine was the first Christian emperor of the Roman Empire. Massenzio was a traditional pagan emperor. One is worshipping Jesus Christ, and the other one was obviously worshipping the pagan gods, so for example, Jupiter, Juno, Apollo, and so on. The building that's the biggest one of all the Roman Forum is only partially preserved. As you can see, we can have in front of us just one of the four walls, and you can just immediately understand how enormous it was. Miriam, if you can put on the screen the first of the three slides that I've sent you about the Maxentius Basilica, the slide showing how it was inside, then my friends, you will be surprised to see that also if you can have in front of you only brick walls, it was completely covered with marble. Because this is an important information. Rome was not made of marble. Rome was covered with marble. That's completely different. So all the walls were made of bricks, all the walls were made of wood, and they were later covered with colorful marble. Now, imagine how big it is considering me inside of it. And now I have a story, a fantastic tale to tell you. Constantine entered in this basilica when he defeated Massenzio. Let's imagine Constantine entering from here. Now, Martina, follow me here and point the camera just in front of you. The entrance door was on our back. Constantine is entering. Now, please, Miriam, put the second slide where you can see the inner part of the basilica. Look at the floor, entirely covered with marble. Look at the walls, imagine them entirely covered with marble. At the opposite end, exactly where you can see the apse made of bricks, just there, there was, my friends, an enormous, giant. You could become crazy imagining the size of it. An enormous sculpture representing the Emperor Massenzio. Half of it was made of marble, face, arms, and legs. Half of it, the chest, was made of bronze and armor. And Massenzio was there, sitting on the throne, holding the scepter of the empire in front of it. When Constantine saw it, obviously, he had to destroy it because it was a memory of his competitor. But he had a better idea. Instead of destroying all the sculpture, he preferred to cut the head, replacing it with his own face. In this way, there was the body paid by Massenzio and the new face paid by Constantine. My friends, Miriam, please put the third and last slide. My friends, we have been able to recover all the marble fragments while obviously the bronze portion has been melted down. And if you look at the marble fragments that are today in exposition in the Capitoline museums here in Rome, you can see how giant they are. The head is unbelievably enormous. You are so small in front of it, and it's incredible to see the horizontal line cutting the neck with the lower part of it belonging to the Maxensus body and the top of it, the face, belonging to the new version built by Constantine. Just a quick last view, Martina, all over the Maxentius Basilica. You can turn off all the slides, Miriam. And we are now going to the final part of our tour. Look at the sky now. Very bad weather for the evening. And now it's time to move to the end of this tour. While we are going there, let me give you some useful information if you want to come in Rome. I'm giving you now the information in the pandemic time, so they can change, obviously. If you want to come in Rome until June, July, so in this last couple of months, there's an incredible opportunity to visit the Roman Forum, completely empty, the Colosseum almost completely empty. The ticket rate is €18, but you have 1 hour, more or less 45 minutes inside of the Colosseum, and all the time that you want inside of the Roman Forum and the Palatine Hill. It's an extraordinary opportunity for you. Consider that in the Colosseum, only 20 visitors every 30 minutes can enter. My friends, trust me, I went inside of it a couple of days ago, and it has been one of the most emotional experiences of my life. But now it's time to end our tour with the entrance door of the Roman Forum. We saw the exit door, the Arch of Settimio Severo, at the beginning of our tour, and there's now another Arch of Triumph. It's the Arch of Titus. That's the oldest one of the 3 Arches of Triumph that we have in Rome. The most modern one is the Arch of Constantine, that's visible close to the Colosseum. As I was telling you, Titus is the son of the Emperor Vespasian. Is the emperor who inaugurated the Colosseum 80 AD. Do you remember the famous 100 consecutive days of games? He was emperor for only 2 years, between 79 to 81 AD. But my friends, he was not lucky, absolutely not. If I tell you 79 AD, and if I point your mind close to Naples, do you remember the eruption of the Balkan Vesuvius, destroying Pompeii and Herculanus? So Titus was the emperor at that time. It was so tiring for him, that was so young, to put a remedy to this situation, that the chronicles are explaining that Titus died for stress after only 2 years of empire. His brother, Domitian, built in memory of his brother this monumental Arch of Triumph. Now Titus, to receive an Arch of Triumph, do you remember it, had to win a war, expanding the empire and killing more than 10,000 enemies. And now, my friends, it's time for us to show you how he did it, because Titus was the emperor who destroyed the city of Jerusalem. Let's have a look now. The 2 decorations, the 2 reliefs that are on the 2 sides of the Arch of Titus are the most important artistic part of this monument. They are very important. Martina, point your camera there over that decoration, my friends. You can see the Roman soldiers that are showing to the citizens the treasure stolen from Jerusalem. You can recognize the menorah, made of gold, 35 kilos of full gold, the candlestick with 7 arms, stolen, taken from the Temple of Jerusalem, moved in Rome, put in exposition, and later melted down by the barbarians. What happened to it? Who knows? No one knows it. Same fate on the right, where you can see two very long silver horns, two trumpets made of silver, arrived in Rome from the Temple of Jerusalem and unfortunately melted down too. But if this side is a memory of the treasure stolen, the last part of our tour will be related to the other side. That's a very important Roman tradition. Now look at it, my friends. You can see the Emperor Titus driving his cart, four white horses in front of him. The representation of the senators looking at him is the man that you can see close to the last horse on the left. But the most interesting part is the entity that's on the back of Titus on his same cart. It seems to be an angel. Look at the wings. It seems an angel, but my friends, is not an angel. The angels were not existing at the time of the Roman Empire. She's the famous Victory, specifically the winged Victory. If you have in your house a pair of shoes, specifically a pair of Nike shoes, you can see the symbol of the Nike, the swoosh of the Nike. That's the symbolic wing of the Victory, because the Greek name of Victory is Nike. So Nike. It's raining now. Now, my friends, why Titus is there on the cart? What's doing? It's celebrating his triumph with the people all around him, clapping their hands, shouting the name of the emperor, giving glory to the emperor. But the surprising information is that in the real life, obviously, the emperor had not the winged Victory on his back. There was not a Victory. The Victory was not existing. It was a legendary entity. Who was on the back of the emperor during the real celebration of the triumph? It's possible that you have seen on many movies, there's the emperor driving the cart, four white horses in front of him, the emperor saying hello to all the spectators, or the British Queen, Queen Elizabeth, blessing them. On the back of the emperor, there's a slave. The slave, my friends, is the less important member of the Roman society. Many animals were more important than the slave. And the slave is whispering to the right side of the emperor's head two words in Latin. The words were memento mori, that in English can be translated with remember that you have to die. It seems a bad omen. So you can imagine that you are the emperor, you can kick him back. Oh, what's happening? Is the slave hoping that I will die? It's not so, my friends. It's not so. The slave is trying to save the emperor's life. Because if an emperor started to consider himself too close to a god, he did the terrible crime of blasphemy, and the Roman citizens could kill him immediately. So the slave is, for a single day, transforming himself into the bodyguard of the emperor. He's explaining him, be humble, fly down, you are not a god. You will become a god when you will die, but not now. Today, you are just the most important man of the community. When you will die, Marty, go up. An eagle, symbol of Jupiter, will take you, bringing you close to the gods. That's the glorification of the Roman emperors immediately after their deaths, not before. My friends, here, Martina, have a look just around the view. You can show them the panoramic view of the Roman Forum. I'm going to close this experience with you, but before I declare it close in a definitive way, before I say you goodbye and thanks a lot, and before I show you Martina, that was the woman behind the camera, is there any question about this tour? Miriam, it's your time.
Everybody, it's really happy, and they are all
time.
They are all telling you that you are fantastic and that it was really a very interesting webinar.
Thanks
you
a
are
lot.
Really fantastic,
Thanks
Vincenzo.
a lot. You
are
have
really
been very
a
lucky, my
guide.
friends.
Valerie is telling you that you are a fabulous guide.
Thanks a lot, my friends. Now, to say you goodbye, let me invert the camera. Let me be close to Martina now.
Yeah, show us
Okay,
Martina.
how can I do it? Okay, okay. And we are here.
Oh,
my
ciao,
friends.
Martina.
It was a pleasure.
Bye bye, my friends. Thanks a lot and have a nice day or evening, depending by your time. Thanks a lot.
Vincenzo, thank
Miriam,
you.
bye
Thank you
bye.
for
Bye
everything.
bye.
So
Bye
I am
bye. Thank
really
you very
sure,
much.
yes, I'm really sure that everybody was enjoying this webinar. It was really fantastic. So
Thanks a
thank you
lot. Thank you
again,
very much.
Vincenzo. Hope to see you in
Bye
Rome.
bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Bye. So next, don't forget, next week we will have our last experience webinar. So register for it and hope you have enjoyed this webinar. See you soon again. Thank you for everybody.